Hello, Adam here again. So this is actually take two for this video, since apparently the first time I just hit preview video instead of actually record, which, not a big deal. Anyways, it starts off pretty, this hand's okay. I have one cantrip and two Manamorphose, so this is something I'd keep most times. Two rituals when one of them's a desperate. If it was too pyretic, I'd be a little less happy about it, but I'd probably still keep it. He leads off with Urza's Tower. I'm pretty happy at this point. I'm just going to fetch a Watery Grave here, and then I'm going to grab a Shivan Reef with the Sleight of Hand, because I feel like I might end up actually having to cast Painful Truce to come out from underneath a Karn or a Ugin. So I probe and I see that he has Wormcoil, Ulamog, but he only has a star to look for things, and then he doesn't actually have the third Tron piece, which is very good for us. So I just cast a Manamorphose here, make a red and a blue. I draw Painful Truce, and I'm just going to wait at this point. Here I just cast Ascension and then play an island, because he played two power plants, so I don't see and he didn't search for one, so unless he got super lucky and drew a mine, but even if he did draw a mine, he's just casting a Wormcoil at this point, which I'm not scared of a Wormcoil. So here I just end up casting Manamorphose once to put a counter on it, and then I cast another one to put a counter on it, and then I just duplicate a bunch of rituals, making infinite mana, and then I cast Painful Truce. Moto was bugged at this point where Cascade wasn't being copied correctly. When you copy a spell, you don't actually cast it, so it never actually has any colors, so you shouldn't actually get a matching pair with Ascension, but that doesn't actually matter at this point because I had everything I needed to kill him. But I just drew 6 cards and went from there. So here I just cast a bunch of spells, Thought Scour myself a bunch, I get a Grape Shot in my graveyard. Essentially I just cast 20 spells with this Past in Flames on the stack most of the time, and then I get a couple other Ascensions out, get them activated, and then once my storm count is 20, I just cast Grape Shot targeting him, and he dies. Which works out pretty well. I think he does change the target of the first one with Spellskite and then realizes that that doesn't really help him. But not a big deal. Tron, I mean, this matchup's kind of swingy, but usually if you kill them on turn 3 or 4 because they don't interact super well. They have to interact through Karn or Ugin, which he didn't have in either game this game. Actually, he never actually assembled Tron either, which would have been helpful, but even with a Wormcoil on the field, or potentially casting an Ulamog, I was probably still 90% to win that game. So now for game 2, which, for you astute observers, that was the only one there, so I win this one too. Spoiler alert. He goes first. I mulligan this first hand, not enough going on. I keep this one because I have a Blood Moon, 2 lands, and 2 slights. An Electromancer, so I mean it's fine for me. Here I just play Sleight of Hand. I take the Electromancer over the Grape Shot because it's nice to just have another one of those because of Ugin or Karn. I usually only run them out one at a time. Here I Manamorphose, see if I can hit a ritual. I don't, so I just cast an Electromancer. He plays a map here and he searches for the mine. So he has Tron, but again not on turn 3. So we look, he has a Sphere, a Karn, an Ulamog, and an Ugin. So he has the 2 cards that interact really well with us. But unfortunately for him, we have a Blood Moon. So here I just hit him for 2. He plays a Sphere, cracks it for green, which makes me think that he might have claims in his deck. He gets a Forest. Yeah, he gets a Forest with that Sylvan Scrying, and then plays a map. So that makes me think even more that he might have some kind of Blood Moon hate. I end up drawing another land, so that's not great. I take the Ritual here because I have a decent graveyard to just Past in Flames loop. I don't really need the other cantrip right now. So I'm going to hit him. He's going to play his 5th land, so that means he's 2 off of Karn and 3 off of Ugin. Here I just draw another ritual, so I'm going to hit him for 2. He's at 14, so I feel relatively confident just going for the combo here. I do play the Electromancer first. I could have sped up the clock and just hit him with Electromancer and an Electromancer, but the reason I didn't do that is if he had an Ugin, he basically destroyed my entire board and game plan. I didn't have a way around that. I play the Ascension here, make a blue, slight to put a counter on it. Now here I see a Past in Flames and an Ascension. I take the Past in Flames because I have one of those in my graveyard, so I can use it to get Ascension active. So I cast Pyretic Ritual and then use my only blue to make. Well, I didn't need to use the blue. That was something actually I screwed up. I forgot I had 2 Electromancers, but that makes me activate Ascension. And at this point, I get to make a whole bunch of mana with the ritual, and then Manamorphose for a bunch of blue. And then I drew another Manamorphose, but I didn't need to cast it. There's the Grape Shot. At this point, I'm just going to hit play, because it's essentially just counting a couple more spells, which is super easy to hit, and then getting the Grape Shot and shotting him for lethal. Tron's usually a pretty easy matchup. We're probably 60-40 in the matchup, if not a little better. You will lose games every once in a while to turn 3 Karn, because turn 3 Karn wins games. But turn 4 Ugin is a lot of the time too slow, and they don't have any other way to interact with us besides O-Stone. And O-Stone, you also need 8 lands, or 8 mana, so turn 4 to actually blow it. O-Stone is a lot worse for us post-board because we have Blood Moon and they can actually easily play an O-Stone one turn and then just blow it the next turn, since we're, as you saw this game, I was just beating him with Electromancers for a little while, sculpting my hand. So O-Stone's actually a lot worse because he can play it out one turn and then blow it up the next turn. But a lot of times, a lot of the Tron decks now are actually getting rid of O-Stone for Ugin, which is actually very good for us. I think that about covers it. Thankfully he wasn't blue Tron, that matchup's a little bit harder. But yeah, so that's game... what was that? Game 3 of the Modern League? Match 3, I guess I should say, to be more clear. So at this point we're 3-0 with Painful Truths, and I've boarded it out every single game, because I boarded it out 2 out of 3 games because I boarded in Blood Moon 2 out of 3 games, because Blood Moon is a house. For those that, you know, aren't convinced of Blood Moon, buy your Blood Moons. It's really, really good. But yeah, that covers this game. So I will see you for game... Yeah, game 4, because this was game 3. I was just confused for a second. This is Adam signing off. Have fun.